Hello, welcome back to the third installment of how to UV map in Maya. We are pretty close to where we left off. I did do the other hand like I said I was going to. So um, you may or may not want to have this hand attached to the rest of your arm here. I'm going to go ahead and attach mine, and that way if you want to, you can. Way to start going about this is we need to figure out where you'll notice there's a big long line that should be the wrist here, and it's got to connect over here to this wrist. So let's look on the edge here and see where we okay, we have a match over here. So looks like this line going down the middle of this finger here, kind of actually right in the middle of this hand, will be where we actually want our seam to be. So we're going to go ahead and cut that one, going all the way down. And you may be asking yourself, can I just select this in actual 3D window here and cut it there? And kind of, yeah. I mean, we'll go over here, zoom into it, hit F to frame where I was selecting, and I will select this edge right here. And then you can go back in your 3D window, double click, and I'll select that whole edge. You're pretty much ready to cut right now, but we need to cut a couple more pieces here that the edge loop won't grab. So we'll grab these ones here, and now we should be ready to cut. So not quite as pretty since that line there goes through the tip of the finger, so it's okay though, no big deal. And then we will grab our edge here and we'll stitch that in. It grabbed it, the arm, and brought it in. I was actually thinking that would have grabbed the hand and brought it over to the arm. No big deal. We'll just bring that piece that we just made and bring it over to the arm. That way we don't have any movement going on over there. Okay. And we'll also bring this guy over here on to this side. But first we'll take care of this side over here. Stitch these guys in. Just like that. Still have a little bit of arm movement, but that's no big deal. We can fix that later. Really, I mean, at this point there's no texture involved, so if the arm was to rotate, it's not a big deal. Okay, so let's turn on our overlap so make sure we're not overlapping areas. Okay, and I see that there's some edges here that we need selected as well, and that brings us all the way to the end of the hand. Okay, so let's stitch that in. And you notice there's a little bit of a mess right there. No big deal. We'll just select those UVs and unfold them. Okay. Looks like that was a little bit of an intense unfold. I'm going to go back and kind of see if we can make that not quite so intense. There we go. That's a little cleaner. Sometimes you'll have your UVs kind of when you do your unfold just scrunched down into a very small area, and sometimes that's what you want, but a lot of times it's not because that doesn't really give you a lot of texture information for those areas that it's scrunched down into. So sometimes you have to go back and kind of unfold or redo, then unfold again. So let's check this side here. Unfold that. That looks great. Okay. And now our hand is connected to our arm. And that's perfect. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do the other hand on my own. I'll let you guys do yours on your own as well. I don't feel like wasting our time doing the same process a second time over. We'll move straight on to the torso now. So torso, we're going to select basically everything but the arms on the top part and the head, and then we're also going to exclude the legs, but we are going to take at the crotch. So we'll probably take this line here going around the hips. So let's go ahead and take the top first and knot the head. Just do a little marquee box for your faces. So in case you forgot, right click your model and then go to face mode down here, and that'll let you select the faces you want to map. So we'll go ahead and select those faces right there. I kind of missed a few in the back. Go ahead and just select all those. Yep. That should just about do it. I'm going to turn off my texture so I can see what's actually selected here. Get the little ball with the checker on there, that'll get rid of your texture. Again, in case you forgot. This may seem a little tedious to you just because you sometimes have to select the individual faces you're after, but you know, sometimes you just have to muscle it in there. Okay, so just another little marquee box around the lower torso. I'm going to have to deselect everything on the legs I don't want, which is pretty much all of the legs. I do want the crotch. Okay. That looks good. Go ahead and grab these ones over here. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. Sometimes you just have to kind of get down in there. Not an easy way to go about it. Alright. Sometimes you'll notice that when you're selecting from both sides, you'll sometimes accidentally reselect something you deselected earlier, just because selecting things goes all the way through the model. So if you somehow accidentally drag just a little bit, it'll select the other side of it as well. So after you're done, you kind of need to go around and make sure that everything you wanted to be selected is actually selected. Nothing that you didn't want selected. Like for instance, the stomach should have been selected, I think. Okay. Let's take a look. It looks like the lower region is great. Okay. Now to undo the arm, so just do a control marquee box in your UV. This will make it a lot easier than trying to deselect in the 3D window. And then just go ahead, control, drag marquee around these arms that we already laid out. And now just the torso is laid out, so that's great. We'll go ahead and get after that. Go create UVs, automatic mapping. Should be getting pretty comfortable doing this process by now. So right click UV and then do a little marquee box around that little area there, and we'll drag that over here and we'll start laying these UVs out. Okay, you can turn this back on if you want. That way you can kind of see how those UVs are all even, just like we want them. Okay, so we also kind of have to decide now where we want our seam for our torso. And normally we kind of want to put it along the back spine area, or maybe along the hips here. But if you have any kind of frontal view, you don't want a seam running right at the front. That is just hard to miss. So let's hide it behind him. We'll do it right up the spine area. That's just a kind of go-to spot for me. And most people who do 3D modeling, they'll usually try to hide the seam in the spine area, especially if there's clothes on it. Okay, let's go ahead and do our little trick we did earlier. So we'll select that one edge up at the very top here of the back. Select the next edge right here. And we'll do a frame in the 3D window. We'll get rid of our checker box so we can see what we're doing. Q to get rid of that moves tool. And then we'll double click this edge above it. Selected all the edges right there. Okay, so then we'll make a little cut right there. Turn that into two pieces. Let's move that away. Okay. Now let's go ahead and stitch that to the front. Before we stitch to the front, we gotta get all the side pieces that attach to the front as well. So after I selected all the edges over here, you can see that they highlighted over here. So let's see what moves to what. So that piece over there moved over there. Also seemed to grab a piece I didn't want. This arm here, didn't want that. So do control marquee box around that one, so it deselects. And then we move that over. Okay. Then unfold the UVs here, make sure they're nice and even. Okay. We can turn this back on so you can see the UVs going on evenly. Okay. Want those square boxes to stay square. You don't want them rounding out. Okay. So let's now select the next set of edges here and see what we got. That goes into the front like we wanted to. And kind of looks like this might be upside down. Just see where that piece is. Yep, that's what I thought. So I actually have to flip this over. So we'll just grab the UVs. Not that we have to flip it over. I mean, when we do the move to tool, a lot of times they'll take care of that for us, but I like to sometimes just move my puzzle pieces to where, like, you know, they're at least next to the right puzzle pieces in the right, facing the right way. Sometimes causes confusing things to happen if we don't do that. Might not for you, but you know, sometimes that's a problem for me, so it's just an extra step I take. So let's stitch this one in. Oh, looks like we grabbed the arm again. Didn't want to grab the arm. Deselect that arm. Stay over there, arm. Okay. And let's see, we have a little renegade here that didn't get stitched in. No problem. You may ask yourself if all those edges I just selected around the one spot I wanted a piece to be stitched in. If an edge already is connected to something else and you hit stitch, it's already stitched to it. It's not going to do anything. So you can kind of, for instance, grab all these edges over here and hit stitch, and the only thing that's being stitched in is the one piece that doesn't have something stitched to it. So just something for you guys to think about. Okay, let's unfold this area over here. Okay, even these UVs out. That looks better. About down here. Also looks better. You can see the stuff prettying up inside the 3D window if you guys are looking in both areas. How about this area right here where the boobs are? Yep, that looks better. Okay. So that looks pretty good for that side. Let's keep working around on this side. So go ahead and grab these guys over here. Stitch them in. Oh, grab those arms again. Those arms want to get in there. You gotta keep your pieces separate. So unless you want the arms in there, I don't. You can if you want to, but you can have some strange things happen if you are trying to keep all your pieces together. As far as the textures go, keeping them even. So just keep on stitching these guys in. It's just starts becoming a little bit of a repetitive process. Okay, so let's take these UVs over here, kind of fold them. Look at the side here as we start doing some unfolding. Unfold, that looks good. And the G key also, if you just hit unfold and you want to unfold again, that repeats your last command. So select those, hit G, and it looks like we're pretty much good. Those look pretty nice. Okay. Let's keep moving on. So next, let's see what's attached to this little section here. I don't see anything highlighting, but let's go ahead and check. So we'll, oh, there it is. This little corner here. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that guy in and see what all he's attached to. Okay. Okay. So now you're probably asking yourself, but what about, it's like, isn't that the back seam? Like, isn't this other part here supposed to go to the back? And you're actually right. That's what you were thinking. That should go to the other side. So let's go ahead and move it over there. So let's go ahead and cut that one. Go to edge, select those edges right there, so that's where it should be going. You'll see they all highlight over here, and then just hit stitch. And there they go. They're over there on the right side now. And let's see what's this little missing piece here. Oh, that belongs to this guy over here. And this guy over here probably doing himself a favor if he wasn't attached right there. We'll just cut him free. Probably his buddy over here too. Cut both of them free. And we'll just stitch them in right there. That's good. That's good. Okay. So we got a few other little pieces left here. Let's see if we find a home for them. Okay. Oh. Looks like in the 3D window they belong down in the crotch area. Okay, so let's check out. Let's see a little piece here highlighted. So yeah, this part here looks like it might be a little bit tricky just because there's not a lot of room to see what you're actually working with here. But no problem, we'll figure it out. Let's just stitch it and see where it goes. Okay, goes over there. That could be okay. But I took a bunch of pieces with it though, so let's go undo that. I think that there might have been something over here got selected, probably in those legs right there. So stitch that piece in. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and find that last piece. Yep. Okay. And this one here, does it go anywhere? Yeah. How about, is there anyone else? Sure. How about now? Ah, there's no leg. Okay, that's probably the end of it. So let's unfold this here so we can see what we got going on. Got some overlaps, so unfold that, see if that solves our problem. Almost solves it. I imagine there's another piece that probably stitches in the middle here, hopefully. It does, but it's from the other side. It's okay. Let's go ahead and cut that guy loose just for the moment. We're going to probably end up cutting that piece in half just to, once we got it figured out, so that we get one half on one side, one half on the other. Again, not that it's necessary, but you know, once I keep a seam, I like to keep everything symmetrical on that seam. There we go. So you got one more piece that probably should go in there. Yeah, well, I think now is probably a good time anyways. Just go ahead and cut this guy free and bring it back to the other side. So we'll cut that. May seem like extra work to you guys, but for me it's just a problem solving thing. I start on one thing, and then once I have that piece completely figured out, I'll go ahead and move it over once I've got the piece all done. There we go. Okay. So we got a couple little other renegades up here. Let's see where they go. Looks like that one should just slap right on in that little middle slot there. So let's go ahead and just stitch it in there. Perfect. Alright, and we'll unfold that. Take a look at it up here. That looks perfect. Okay. And then we got a couple extra little pieces up here. Let's see where they go to. Okay, I got one that goes right here. And one more goes right here. Alright. And that should do it for the torso. Okay, so now let's just move that guy over to position now. So scale him down a little bit. He was a bit big. Oh, that's not the scale direction I wanted. I need both directions. Okay, good. Go ahead and bring him over here. He's still a little bit big. We'll probably end up keeping the chest that size and shrinking the arms down a little bit. You don't want to overlap with your UVs. So put him over here. Okay. So we got our arms done. We got our torso done. All we got left now is the legs and the head. So like I said at the beginning of the lesson, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this other hand in. I suggest you do the same, unless you didn't want the hands attached to the arms, in which case I will see you guys in the next lesson where we'll go ahead and lay out the legs, and we'll leave the head for the last lesson. So thanks again for coming and checking out my videos, and hope it's helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.